We have 4 elementary schools that are,
It is my understanding that this information has not been made public. Dr. Wallace just stated that this information is presented to us to read and that it will be presented for the public next month. The district has just given us copies. They haven't analyzed things. This is for you to read, but none of this information has been made public and won't be until,
so this is still under a,
is this public?
yeah, so.
All right, that wasn't made
I just
clear,
want
so
to
I
make,
wanted to make sure that.
I thought it was, because this has been under, whatchamacallit, for.
All right. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
thank you. I was not
it's been
clear on
under,
that point.
it's been under the secrecy envelope for weeks. I understood that we would only get it if it was public. Anyway, quick point. We've been told at the school closure meetings, we have not been told as a board, that we were not considering MEP performance in terms of schools that would go out of existence. I would appreciate it, Dr. Wallace, if you'd give me I don't know if any other board members want it, but the basis for that, not today, but I'd appreciate knowing why it is we can't consider academics. At every one of the meetings, we're told At every one of the meetings, we're told that that's not being considered. Well, I'm saying as a board member, I cannot close a school, which is the highest performing school in the district, or in the top 5. And if that's countered by the possibility of enormous costs of keeping the school in operation, which is the second point. We've been told about the enormous costs of keeping one school in operation. I hear figures from $120,000 for a roof, $600,000 for exterior renovations. I, as a board member, from now until the 16th of April, I don't know of any opportunity I'm going to have to inquire about these concepts. So I'm inquiring tonight for a response of where these estimates came from, how urgent the problem is, and why I can't consider the academics. I've brought this up many times, and I've been told by superintendent staff that they're not considering academics. They have a criteria, though, that's called area educational value. So I'd appreciate it if I could be informed of what that means. I've tried to find the definition, and I will continue over the weekend. I'll be on a plane quite a bit of time, and I'll be studying the CAFTR's reports, which is where, this is the only place I know where I can get this information. And I will look at the CAFTR's reports on the definitions. And if I find them, I will email on Monday and make more specific inquiries about what is defined in the CAFTR's reports. At any rate, we got basically 2 weeks, and I think we're done with the parent sessions. I understand there's an administrative committee that I was told at a meeting was delegated the responsibility by the board to determine school closings. Not determine them, because the vote would be on the 16th, but to recommend which schools. And I don't agree with that. I don't believe that's true. Obviously, the recommendations got in the paper before there was a completion of board meetings. So these are my questions. And I will send them by email on Monday, but there's going to be so much excitement over the weekend with Michigan State beating Connecticut, and then Michigan State beating North Carolina, that I don't want another 4 days to be lost, because I would like to know.
Mr. Davis, is this still in focus on the MEP?
Yeah,
Strictly, okay.
Definitely on the
All right,
MEP.
I just want to make sure.
I could take
we
you
had
through
that off.
item
No,
by
I don't
item,
want
but I'm
to.
trying to
I just want to
spare
make sure that
you
we're still
that.
focused on the MEP results.
Yeah, well, the MEP results, speak for themselves on the schools that are being considered for closure, plus the two recommended by CAFTRs, Wainwright and Riddle, which have been taken off the list by the internal administrative committee, not by the board. And I say the academic results are something that I've been told by the superintendent's team that a board member should not consider. And there was all kinds of, last night there was all kinds of stuff about legalities and discrimination. Well, I'll tell you something. You just get the kids that are performing poorly in these 4 worst performing schools, you get them in a bus, and you take them to the schools that are performing well, because there's room in those schools, and you tell me that I'm discriminating, I'm telling you that that is how to remedy the deficiencies that are experienced in some of these. All our schools are way majority at risk, so I don't know anything about discrimination. But the fact is, if one school's 90 and one school's 72, to put the kids with 90 in it, put them in a bus, take them to the schools that are performing in our top 5, because there's room in those schools. And you tell me I'm discriminating, and I would like to see the court case and the attorney's opinion that backs that up. Thank you.
Ms. Rogers?
I'll give some information on schools.
Ms. Rogers?
Having spent almost 30 years here as an employee and having worked for a short time in special ed, a long time in adult ed, one of the things that I do know that there are certain aspects of education that are sacrosanct in terms of confidentiality and the uses that can be afforded with them. Now then, I am not saying that this is one of those circumstances, but I don't think it's fair to give the impression that the administration is ignoring something that might very well be a situation where there is past practice, guidelines and expectations in terms of looking at students in an equitable fashion across the board. Had I not worked here and not having experienced that, because one of the things that I know for a fact is that a CA 60 is required to have more internal protection than what I had in the payroll department. And so there are some things that the law expects, mandates, and I think it's fair to ask the question, but I also don't think it's fair to maybe leave the impression that people are doing things in a way that is avoiding an issue. There are just some things in terms of students, CA 60s, things you can count, that had I not worked here for 30 years, I wouldn't know that. Having said that, I think it's fair to look at performance. I think it's fair to look at quality of instruction and education. I think it's fair to look at all of those things if we indeed feel like we need to close some facilities. I don't know, though, how I measure one child against another. I don't know how I give more value to a child scoring in the 90 percentile than I give to a child scoring in the 50 percentile, because I was elected to educate all our children. And I think we need to come up with a way to do that fairly and responsibly, whatever that is.
Thank you. Dr. Wallace?
Before, and I'm just responding to Mr. Davis, I hope to arm you with more information before you leave.
No, I didn't ask for it tonight.
No, not tonight. But our plan was to disseminate it tomorrow.